Dimebag, Darrell Abbott, and Pantera with Walk. Coming in at number 57 on 56, 57. I can't remember. I've done so many of these. On Guitar World Magazine's Top 100 Solos of All Time. Dimebag Darrell, one of the most tragic deaths in the history of hard rock metal music. I actually saw Dimebag just a couple of months before he was killed, and with Damage Plan, they were supporting Slayer here in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. Just a great show. Dimebag was so good. In my opinion, the greatest heavy metal guitar player who has ever lived. There are loads of great metal guitar players, Kirk Hammett and his wah pedal, and Marty Friedman and Dave Mustaine and tons of others. Marty Friedman stands out, of course. Marty Friedman just never seemed happy playing metal music. He always seemed like he wanted to do something else. And he eventually did go do something else. He moved to Japan to make K-pop, I guess. I don't know what he's doing. He just never seemed happy. So I'm going to give the edge to Dimebag because I liked Dimebag. And I liked his soloing style and I liked his tone. And more about that later. This is a great solo. It's so much fun to play, and it's so interesting. And it's got some great vibrato in it, and the opening lick is super quick. And I had some difficulty getting it up to speed. It's so fast, and there's string skipping involved, and string skipping in itself is a tricky little technique to learn. And when you're doing it at this speed, really difficult. And, Dimebag was young and nimble and full of fire when he wrote this solo. And, I'm old and creaky and full of ice cream. So, but I got it done. I think it's slightly slower than Dimebag. I kind of shoehorned it in there, but it still sounds good. And, I'm happy with this one. And I'm happy with the tone on this one that I got with Bias FX. VST plugin. Tone. Back in my club days, when I was playing the bars and clubs in Toronto, back in the mid to late 80s, long before I had ever heard of Dimebag Darrell, I played in a theatrical rock show, theatrical hard rock metal. Well, we did a little bit of everything. We would do You're So Vain by Carly Simon and Walk on the Wild Side by Lou Reed. And follow it up with Balls to the Wall by Accept and Green Manalishi by Judas Priest and Anarchy in the UK by the Sex Pistols. And then we'd go back to doing some, Lou Reed. But we were all over the place and it was a lot of fun and people really liked us. And when I was on stage, I had two amps. I had a PV 50 watt combo solid state amp and I had a high watt stack tube amp. But whenever I was doing any kind of metal or hard rock music, it was the PV that did most of my heavy lifting because I could get my preferred tone out of it. Everything on 10, gain on 10, bass on 10, treble on 10, and the mids back on 1 or 2. And that was the tone I liked when I was playing metal music. And it turns out that it's the same tone that Dimebag used. A lot of people don't like Dimebag's tone. A lot of people like Dimebag's tone, and you go on forums, guitar forums, people are always trying to emulate Dimebag's tone. But a lot of people thought his tone was garbage. And, it comes down to a difference between solid state and tube. And I think I'm in the minority here, but I prefer the sound of a solid state amp when I'm playing metal. I just love that harsh, buzzy, high-end distortion, like your amp is full of hornets' nests. It's just so much more of a devastating metal sound to me. I've owned tube amps, and people say tube amps are warmer, and they are warmer. But when I'm playing metal, I don't want to hug you with my warm tone. I want to bash you over the head with my tone. And that's the type of tone that Dimebag had. Just like a devastating tone. And I love Dimebag's tone. Because it's my tone. It's my preferred tone as well. And so anyway, I really enjoyed doing this one. And I hope you liked it. I really like learning this one and playing this one. And so that's it for this week. Next week we have some Sabbath and Tony Iommi. Tony Iommi. I don't know how to pronounce his name. With I can't remember. Iron Man, maybe? I don't know. But I'm going to learn it, whatever it is. You haven't beaten me yet, list. And but anyway, we're down into the mid 50s and another 55 or so, maybe another 60 to go with 5 more honorable mentions. But so that's it for this week. I hope you liked it, and we'll see you next time. And thanks for popping in. Thanks for watching and all the kind words. And take care of yourselves. Ciao.